Welcome. I am Olivier Wagner. I have been operating 1040 abroad since 2012, preparing returns for Americans who live overseas, helping them get into compliance. I sometimes touch upon immigration questions along the way. I am here addressing expatriating acts and how that would influence your path to give up U.S. citizenship. This presentation is addressed to U.S. citizens who plan on relinquishing U.S. citizenship, those who acquired foreign citizenship with the intent of relinquishing U.S. citizenship, and of course, those who acquired foreign citizenship and yet are unsure whether they are still U.S. citizen. A common scenario is someone moved to Canada in the 1960s. A lot of people did that in reaction to the Vietnam War. They subsequently acquired Canadian citizenship. It was interesting that back then, neither Canada nor the U.S. allowed dual citizenship. As such, it was pretty clear that they did so with the intent of relinquishing their U.S. citizenship. The ENA lists various expatriating acts, but the most common ones are 1. Acquiring a foreign citizenship, 2. Taking an oath of allegiance to a foreign state, and 3. Employment serving to a foreign country, especially if that's a decision-making position or employment in the Army. What is interesting is that as these laws were passed to U.S. citizens at the time, if you perform an expatriating act before this date, and therefore was not a U.S. person when this was passed, logically these laws wouldn't apply to you. Back to our hypothetical citizen who stopped behaving like a U.S. citizen in 1978, but doesn't have a certificate of loss of nationality, and had been contacted by their bank. There are 3 options available. 1. Obtain a certificate of loss of nationality. 2. Do nothing and explain the situation to the bank. 3. Catch up with their tax obligation and renounce. This would involve making an appointment at the consulate to apply for a certificate of loss of nationality. The upside is that it will be backdated to the date of the Expatriating Act. If that were before 2004, neither Section 877 nor 877A would apply. That's the most desirable outcome. The downside is that you need to convince the consulate that you stop being a U.S. citizen, because when you performed the Expatriating Act, you did so with the intent of giving up your U.S. citizenship, and therefore, you stopped behaving as a U.S. citizen. If you applied for a U.S. passport or voted in U.S. elections, even if it was a decade or 2 after the Expatriating Act, your approval chance would drop to 0. The second alternative is to do nothing. You're not a U.S. citizen and don't have to prove it to anyone. One advantage is that it's free. A disadvantage is that it lacks certainty. You have this position, you document it, but you don't have a certificate of loss of nationality, which would be the word of the U.S. government backing your position and certifying that they agree with you. If challenged, you might not prevail, and in this FACTC world, the bank could forward your information to the IRS. The third option is not to try to convince the government that you gave up your U.S. citizenship at the time of the Expatriating Act, and instead renounce it, which would mean that you would give up your U.S. citizenship as of the date of the consulate appointment. That means that you need to have filed 5 years of tax returns. You would need to ensure that you are not a covered expatriate or otherwise be comfortable with its implications. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to contact me at 1040abroad.com or my email on the next slip. That's 1040abroad, 1040abroad.com.